Welcome back, self-explorers. And today I want to talk a little bit about how to find deeper meaning in your birth chart. Before we start, remember to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any updates, and to like and share. Click the link to download your free guide, your essential guide to soul astrology, and that will really help you to understand soul astrology a little bit better. And you can read about the 12 zodiac signs and their soul-centered meanings in more depth in my book, Soul Astrology, how your rising sign reveals your soul path and life purpose. Okay, so let's begin. So, how to find deeper meaning in your birth chart? Really, the deeper meaning isn't in your birth chart, it's in you. And so that's why I always emphasize how important meditation is in order to open up your intuition. And so you become more intuitive about what you're seeing in your birth chart. And then the next thing is to keep things really simple, to simplify things. When we listen to spiritual teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh or Mooji or any of your favorite spiritual teachers, they're always really very simple. The reason for that is because as we expand in consciousness, we go beyond intellect. If you saw my previous video on the stages of consciousness, from instinct through intellect to intuition, the intellect keeps us stuck in complexity. The intellect always wants, okay, I got that. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it keeps us spinning on a horizontal plane from one fact to another fact to another fact. And we can be in danger of gathering and collecting facts without deeper understanding of the meaning or how meaningful is that to us. And astrology is a very intellectual science. It's very complex and very vast. We can spend our lives exploring the different schools of astrology, different schools of astrological thought, different astrological concepts. And just by doing that, we'll never go beyond the level of intellect. So once we start moving into our soul and trying to connect with our soul, we almost need to take a step back from that. And that's why sitting in meditation and allowing ourselves to become still and quiet is very important in allowing us to listen and hear the whisperings from our soul. Then we can approach our birth chart very differently. And so to begin with, to just identify your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign is really important because it's so simple. And from there, once you have a basic understanding of the meaning of your sun sign and the meaning of your moon sign, you can begin to see how your personality will be expressing in daily life. And then to bring in your rising sign and to contemplate on the deeper meaning of your rising sign, you can start to connect with your soul's energy that's trying to come through and express itself in this lifetime. And by keeping your attention there and by returning to meditation, your insight and your awareness will grow. So you move out into your daily life, you see how the energy of your rising sign, your soul, is trying to express itself in your life and your daily activities. You look at your sun sign and your moon sign and how those energies are being expressed in your daily activities. You come back to your meditation or your contemplative practice, whatever form that takes, and you reflect and you sit and you see how those energies are expressing in your life. And then you start to get more familiar at that level before going deeper. And then when you do decide to go deeper, start using your soul sign as the starting point in your birth chart and move from there. So what I mean by that, let's look at an example, a sample chart, and we'll see what I mean. So I call this person Joe Sample. I just made her up. She doesn't really exist, unless she does. Perhaps somebody out there is going to go, hey, that's my birthday, that's my chart. But I just pulled it out of thin air. So in this example, we start, let's see how this might work. So here we've got somebody, if you look top right, we've got somebody who's Aries rising with a Taurus moon and an Aries sun. So we'd say that here we've got an Aries soul with an Aries Taurus personality. The prana, the life force energy is being expressed through the sun sign in Aries, and their emotional world, how they experience emotions, is through a Taurus moon. And that's enough to start with to keep things simple. Once we start getting into the meaning of all the other planets, it's just taking us away from something that we can relate with directly. We will be able to eventually relate to the energies of those planets. But with soul astrology, to get deeper meaning from our birth chart and how it applies in our life, we have to be able to recognize and experience those energies directly, to be able to go, oh my goodness, when I reacted like that, that was my Leo moon, or, you know, and see how that is expressing in daily life. So it's personal to us rather than just a mental idea or an abstract idea that we're carrying around. So we get very familiar with our rising sign and what our rising sign means. So when somebody's got Aries rising, they're really here to connect with and express divine ideas, to bring divine ideas into the world. And when somebody's sun is in Aries, they're moving very spontaneously. They're having a lot of ideas and they've got a lot of energy, and they're moving very impulsively and spontaneously into the world, which is a good thing in many ways. Aries is a pioneer. It's a cardinal sign. It's the energy of spring. I always think of little plants and all the obstacles they have to push through to reach the surface. In aiming for the light, they're pushing through the earth and the stones and the rocks to burst out into the life in spring. So Aries is almost the epitome of life force energy bursting forth, carving out new pathways. And so when you've got your sun and your rising sign in the same sign as in this example, what's happening is you're actually almost going up the musical scale. You're almost going up octaves. So the personality expression of Aries would be a lower octave, in the sense that it would be a more materialistic, more worldly expression of the energy, rather than the soul expression, which will be a more altruistic, a higher expression, in the sense that it's more subtle, more aligned with our spiritual nature rather than the materialistic world. And when someone has the sun and rising sign in the same sign, it's an invitation to elevate, to bring the highest soul expression of that sign through into your daily activities. And then the moon in Taurus is somebody who is emotionally quite calm, quite stable, likes to have a peaceful life. The moon in Taurus is all about security, trying to establish a secure foundation in life, a peaceful, solid, secure foundation in life. So when we just look at the sun, moon, and rising sign, we can say that here's somebody with Aries rising, so they'll be bringing divine ideas down into the world through spontaneous pioneering activity, and the moon sign creating a solid, firm foundation. And that's quite a lot to begin with, to actually start working with understanding and getting deeper meaning from your own chart. You could spend a couple of years just contemplating in meditation, learning more, reading more, and then contemplating what is the highest expression of your soul sign, your rising sign. How is that being expressed through your sun sign, through your pranic energy, through your daily activities, and how is that being expressed through your moon sign, your whole emotional world, and how you experience and express emotions. And so that's what I mean by keeping things really, really simple. In understanding your own birth chart and your own soul path, that's a really solid foundation. Then when you're ready to go further, you can start then to use the starting point of your rising sign and track it, follow it through your birth chart. So in soul astrology, in esoteric astrology, we talk about each sign having two planetary rulers. So in astrology, we talk about the chart ruler. And what that is it's quite an important planet because it's the planet that rules your rising sign. And my mentor, Alan Oaken, used to always say, wherever your chart ruler goes, that's where you go, because it indicates where your energy is most likely to express. Like water will find the easiest way down the mountain. It will find the best stream, the easiest river to flow down the mountain. Your energy will naturally flow in the direction of your chart ruler. So what does that mean? So when somebody's got Aries rising, the planetary ruler for Aries is Mars. So Mars becomes the chart ruler. So when you're an Aries soul, you want to look where Mars is in your birth chart. And like I say, use the basic foundation first, sun, moon, rising sign, get very familiar. Then look at your chart ruler and then start to meditate on what that might mean. Now, in this example, Mars is in Capricorn in the 10th house. So when we learn a little bit more about astrology, we'll find that Capricorn is quite a stable, methodical sign. It's looking for method and it's looking for to achieve goals very steadily and very methodically. So this somewhat modifies the impulsiveness of Aries. This person's not going to be a very impulsive kind of person. There's going to be always some method to the madness. And with Mars being in the 10th house, this is likely to be in the area of career or building, working steadily to build some kind of career or position in the world. And there again, we have quite a lot to contemplate. So in your own chart, if you look what your rising sign is and then find the chart ruler and contemplate the sign and the house, there's a lot there to meditate on. We're not going to talk about aspects at this stage, but you might later, because you want to see what's the complete condition of that chart ruler. But I also want to point out that in esoteric astrology or soul astrology, we've also got a soul ruler. So Mars is the ruler of Aries at the personality level. So this person's life and personality would probably be about working steadily, achieving goals steadily to build some kind of career or position in the world. But the soul ruler of Aries is Mercury. Now, the soul ruler in a chart is going to show us where we have life experiences that actually call us up to a higher aspect of ourselves, that bring out our soul-centered qualities. And so if we look in this chart, we can see that Mercury is actually in Pisces in the 11th house. And Pisces is all about universal love and compassion at the soul-centered level. And the 11th house is about building what we might call, in Buddhist terms, it would be called a sangha, or a spiritual community, or a network of friendships, or social network that really supports you in your spiritual growth. So in addition to this person's energy flowing at a personality level into steadily working towards some career, then we've also got on a soul level, this person is being called up to build social networks that are formed on the basis of love and compassion in order to awaken their more soul-centered qualities. Now, Mercury in esoteric astrology is all about the building of the rainbow bridge from lower mind to higher mind. So when anybody has got Aries rising, you look to where Mercury is in your chart, what sign, what house, and then you'll see where your soul is calling you to build that rainbow bridge from lower mind to higher mind to support you in your spiritual awakening. If you look in my book, The Complete Foundations of Soul Astrology, you'll see that there's a chart that tells you the personality and soul rulers of each sign if and when you're ready to go deeper into that. But you can see that that's a lot that could become potentially very complex. So the trick is to go very slowly and meditate and contemplate each step of the way. So to start with, sun, moon, rising sign, find out what they are, find out what they mean from a soul-centered perspective. After some time, you can then begin to go deeper into your chart and find out your chart ruler and find out the meaning of your chart ruler from a personality perspective and from a soul-centered perspective. And always at every stage, take time, meditate, contemplate, don't rush. The deeper meaning arises from the insights that you gain from having invested that time in meditating and reflecting on the soul-centered qualities of your chart. So I hope that's helped you to find some deeper meaning in your birth chart. Remember to click the link below to download your free guide and learn more about soul astrology. And when you're ready to go deeper, have a look at my book, Soul Astrology, How Your Rising Sign Reveals Your Soul, Path and Life Purpose. That tells you a lot more about the soul purpose of each of the 12 signs. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you love soul astrology, remember to like and share and subscribe to this channel. See you next time.